Welcome to the Bodybuilding Banter podcast, your number one source of all things bodybuilding. Be sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on future episodes. Now, here's your host, Leroy Rollins.
Okay, man. Let's get the introduction out of the way. Tell yourself who you are to the people and what you're all about.
Right on. Okay. So my name is Devin. I'm a registered nurse. I reside here in New York, in Rochester, upstate New York. And for the last year, I've been a new nurse. I started my career earlier in March of 2018.
Nice.
And since then, I've been specializing in orthopedics at Rochester General Hospital. But more so recently, things have changed with COVID-19 being around.
Yeah.
And the delegation of care and priorities have shifted. But we're making the most of it. And, my passions and hobbies outside of work entail bodybuilding and fitness.
Yeah.
It's been for a while.
Nice. So, I believe your first show, correct, was supposed to be the one that I was going to do in May?
My first show would have been today.
Oh, shit.
For this season, it would have been here in Rochester with the INBF.
Oh, the USA's. Yeah. The one that I did last year. Got it.
Yeah.
So that didn't happen.
No.
How'd that feel?
Well, I think, I've already sort of mentally digested and processed a lot of the changes
Yep.
over the last month. So the funny thing is with nursing is you learn to troubleshoot and think worst case scenario like way ahead.
No doubt. Yeah.
I heard about COVID-19 in China when my mom was giving me a call. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
It happened. And then the gym's closing in New York. And then I was like, all right, they might cancel the shows.
Yeah.
And then they postponed. And then they were canceled. So I was like, all right. It definitely, was something to think about because at first it was something that was just like so drastic of change.
Yeah.
Everything so quickly. But as of today, I feel fine, because there is the future. And just because the show's postponed doesn't mean like your whole career has ended.
Yeah.
It's just more time for improvement, growth, reassessing, going from there.
For sure. So you're still tentatively doing the May 30th, yes?
Yeah, the Utica show with INBF. I'm looking at that because it's on the 31st, I think, of May. It's only 2 hours from me, so
Okay.
as of right now, I'm like very close to my predicted stage weight.
Yep.
And just to like dial it in, I have more time to just hover, probably maintain.
For sure.
And go from there.
So are you self-coached or are you working with a coach?
I work with a coach. I work with Christopher Bearcat. Oh, I'm making three more eyes right now.
Oh, you work with Chris. Nice. How's that been?
Yeah. It's been a great venture. I think I learned a lot from him. I don't think I've ever learned more from anyone else or from any other resource than with working with Chris.
Nice.
I started working with him last April.
Okay, so it's been a year.
Yeah, it's been a year. And it's been a lot of progression with, like a mini cut at first and a slow reverse. Ended up bulking for like maybe a few weeks. You brought my calories so high. I was like, at work, I'm like, how am I going to get all this food in? And then it came to a point where we were just like, okay, contest prep, we'll flip the switch.
Mm-hmm.
And we cruising down.
Nice. What made you pick him? Like, how'd you stumble onto his information and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, for sure. It's a beautiful story because growing up, I moved in with my stepdad with my mom when I was 11. And my stepdad, he lived in Bay Ridge in Brooklyn. He was this Brooklyn Italian guy. So in that community, we had high school bodybuilding shows at Fort Allen High School.
Okay.
And then there were a lot of older guys around town who worked out in the gyms that went to that high school and stuff. But they also competed in like INBF, the INBF Hercules. So it was like a close-knit circle of people. And I knew two guys that competed and were actively competing when I was like, maybe 20, 21. And I was watching them on social media posting their contest prep journeys. Two guys, it was Corey Gonzalez and then Albert Shao. They were both coached by Chris.
Okay.
So I instantly reached out, but I reached out to Christopher Barakat when he was like the up and coming.
Right.
He was like the underdog as a coach, like way back when I was a junior in college.
Okay.
I was like 21. This is like 4 years ago. I reached out to him for the first time.
Right on. Oh.
That time I was like opportunities. Because I was still in school and I was trying to pick up on where I'll go with my career.
Sure.
I was interested in sports medicine and stuff, physical therapy. But, he was, studying and researching that aspect. But that was the first time I interacted with him. It was a couple of years back already.
Nice. So give me a rundown of how the first prep's gone.
I think, my first prep was in 2017. I was in my senior year of college. I was wrapping up my time at RIT, where I've been studying here in Rochester.
Okay.
I prepped myself. It was just like, all right, I'm gonna cut weight. And then, like a month in, I was like, okay, let's do a show. And
I'm ready.
It wasn't structured at all. I had some friends who were encouraging me to do a show, and I was like, okay, let's try it.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing 2 shows that year. I didn't know what I was doing. I don't know what I was doing. Like, and then maybe I got it together a little bit 2 months out, but no, there's no structure, and I learned it on my own.
Yeah.
My first actual show was when I was 17 in high school. That did everything wrong in the book.
Well, you got to learn from that.
Yeah, you learn a lot from those ventures, and then after my 2017 competition season, I went straight into a 1-year nursing program. So, bodybuilding and competing was on a back burner.
Mm-hmm.
So I flew through that 1-year BSN. And then as soon as I started working, I was like, man, maybe it's time to pick up on competing again. So I made that decision, and then I reached out to Chris. So we took it from there. And, getting to where I'm at now from the peak of my off-season weight, I think it was a breeze because we definitely took a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was structured. There were little breaks in between. So no complaints right now. Yeah.
Good stuff. So do you follow like a macro approach, or are you pretty similar through a day to day? How do you prefer your diet?
So we're basically structured with a set macro guideline that can change on a weekly basis depending on objective factors with weigh-ins, and then performance, and the subjective factors like how I'm feeling with sleep, hunger, lethargy, things like that. Yeah.
Good stuff. And how are you managing training right now at home? Seems like you got a little bit of a decent setup.
I've always been very resilient when it came to adaptations because, like, my full-time job as a nurse, I'm on a rotating schedule. So throughout the year, I'm on nights. I'm on evenings, days. So I'm fitting in training, regardless of my work schedule. So I've had like days where I've worked out at like 2 o'clock in the morning, or like midnight, and it would be like a ghost town. I'd go to like 24-hour fitness or something. I'm like, who in the world is doing this right now?
Yeah.
I've done that. And now it's like, I basically set up shop in my room upstairs. Drove out to like Pennsylvania 4 hours to pick up some iron plates. I've like crafted, from scratch, like this, these pillars for like squats and just making do with, adjustable weights, doing that.
Right on. And what are like kind of the biggest, I guess, hurdles you've had with prepping while being a nurse? Because that whole nursing lifestyle is all over the place itself, right? So what have you had to kind of overcome?
I don't know. I mean, I guess my life professionally has progressed. but my personal life outside of work entails my pursuits in bodybuilding.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the whole social distancing thing, I was like I've been socially distanced. So it's like I make time for friends and family on the fly here and there. Um, but to answer your question, it's made my social life maybe a little challenged,
Right.
or compromised because I put in so much time for myself, and it's just one of the things in healthcare is taking good care of yourself so you can take care of others.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I find my balance is when I'm at work, I pour my soul into what I do for my patients. But then in my personal time, I'm working on myself.
Yep.
Doing stuff that makes me happy.
For sure. What do you do outside of bodybuilding and work? What are your hobbies?
I like the outdoors, honestly. If I can hear frogs chirping and birds flying outside, that makes my day.
Nice.
But occasionally, I do like, big cities, the hustle and bustle.
Yeah.
I took a trip out to Toronto last fall, and I was like, oh my gosh, so much stimulus,
Yeah.
so many sights, so many smells, and it was a good time over there too.
Yeah, that's about 2 hours from where I live. Toronto is.
Yeah, 3 hours from me.
Yeah. Toronto's psycho. I can't get. As soon as I go there, I'm ready to leave.
Yeah, no, it's a fun trip, and it's like so many things to do as well.
So, have you guys had the conversation about if May show gets canceled, what you're gonna do?
Well, let's see. On this Sunday, I'm scheduled for a shoot, doing a little photo shoot.
Nice.
And then to go from there, we'll probably, either diet break or maintain. I'm not sure what that, exactly entails. If I'm floating up my calories to like hold it steady,
Mm-hmm.
because there might be some shows in June or July. Um, but as of right now, looking at the news, they're saying that they want to, open up some businesses again and stuff. So it's hard to say what'll happen.
Yeah, like I've read stuff about them saying, beginning of May that they're hoping that they can start doing some stuff. So hopefully things kind of start clearing up in the next few months, right?
Yeah, it's possible. And I think, holding it steady with the diet and training, a lot of it is mental. And I think, like, in my current state, I feel fine. I feel okay. I mean, there are days where stress is high
Mm-hmm.
and I'm, like, having self-doubts of, like, is this worth it? Should I just start reversing? But, on the good days, I feel good and it's, manageable. So if it's worth, the temporary sacrifice to just hold it steady, then I'll do that.
Good for you. Right on. No, that's a good attitude to have, right? Because it's so up in the air right now, so you never know what could happen.
Yeah, but I know bodybuilders who stay within shape, stay within like say 6, 7, 8 weeks of like conditioning shape.
Yep.
Around a year, just wait for the next show.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, it can be done, right? And at the end of the day, it's all, if it lines up with your goals and what you're trying to do, then by all means, go for it for sure. Like I have clients who were supposed to compete today, and that show got moved to September. So we're now 20 weeks out again, and it's like, we'll do what we can do. Just keep trucking.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are your goals within the sport itself? Like, are you probably going to compete long term, or is this just a temporary thing?
I think I want to compete long term. Between this and my work as a nurse, on my social media, I call myself Swole Nurse Dev. So check that out. I'm like, trying to like build a little side hustle with like online coaching
Mm-hmm.
and start preaching what I've learned and what I've done over the years to other people.
For sure.
Because like fitness for me has always been my salvation. I got into this. Growing up, I wasn't the healthiest child. Like my grandmother took care of me; she raised me, and the last summer before she passed, the funny thing was we were on summer vacation in China.
Mm-hmm.
I was 13 years old. I was like a punk kid with like spiky hair and like goth emo punk look.
For sure.
But she brought me to this gym in China, and it was an interesting summer vacation. But she left me fitness and like bodybuilding.
Yeah.
We were at a bodybuilding gym in China. And that following year she passed, but over the years I learned that I felt closer to her by pursuing fitness, and bodybuilding became the capstone and an aspect of my life. So I've been doing this since a while. Since I was like a young teenager, I've had to learn a lot and like beat through the bushes to figure out like effective training and diet and all this. But in college, I powerlifted and all these different endeavors in fitness. I'm doing this for the long term. Yeah, but competing gives me a thrill, man. It's so exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome, dude. That's a cool story. You don't hear that 13-year-old kid taken to a gym in China very often. That's awesome.
That's a different one, yeah.
So if you get on stage and stuff this year, then will you take a considerable amount of time off and try to grow?
Yeah, for sure. Every time I've realized the most amount of growth and improvement were like 1 or 2 year long off seasons.
It's usually
back up.
Yeah.
Because then it's like you're not eating enough, like either in a deficit or something. Like it feels great to be lean and to hold it there, but eventually, say after the summer, I'm definitely floating the calories back up to bulk again.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun too.
Oh yeah, it's nice to eat.
Yeah.
What's your weight at right now?
Woke up this morning after like a lot of sleep. I'm on vacation finally. I got my my scheduled vacation request, and I was supposed to be competing this weekend and next weekend.
Yeah.
But I guess I'll be just like kind of relaxing stuff. 169, 169.4 this morning.
Okay.
I'm at, I'm 6 feet.
What did
like a middleweight for my height and weight? Yeah.
What did prep start at? What was your weight?
I started prep. The peak of my weight last December was 187.
Okay, so about 20 pounds ish.
Like yeah, but like in my heaviest, like I can get up to like 200, 205, and that was like fall of 2017, I think. That's when I was like no tracking really, eating out,
Yeah.
drop weight,
Yeah.
powerlifting, training. So 200 was like when I didn't track anything.
That's the thing with powerlifting too, is it pays to be a little heavier. Like I know when I was like 180, 190, I felt just strong as shit.
Yep, absolutely.
And then
yeah,
and then as you get leaner, like I know I'm feeling good now, like 169 this morning, but when I was getting close to like down to 160, that's when I start to get kind of a little weak, a little achy. And I get down to about 150 by the time I'm on stage, so it's a dramatic drop.
Definitely. Yeah.
So
you find some middle ground.
Yeah, I think right now, like give or take a few pounds for me is kind of like a comfortable spot. I'll probably try to hold for most of the year because I'm gonna start like re-prep again in the fall. So I don't want to get way back up to where, because I started prep at 192. So this was gonna be like a 40-pound cut, but I don't want to do that again. So we'll keep it steady this year and just try to maintain a reasonable like body fat level and try to bring calories back up. My calories are up to about 3,200 right now, and my weight's pretty stable. So,
I'm so jelly. That's good.
I was down to about 24, I think, and now we're back up to about 32. I'd love to see it like well over 4,000 by the time I start prep again. That'd be nice.
Gotcha.
No.
Yeah, that's good.
So, overall, you feel good with everything? Like you're happy with the progress you've made and the physique you were gonna bring?
Yeah, definitely. I think still assessing myself. I think being at 169, like if I'm truly at my stage, weight, I'd be closer to like 163, 162, which isn't far from where I'm at now.
Yep.
That probably take 4 or 5 weeks of just a little more work, and then peak week, letting all of that magic happen. So yeah, I'm close. I think what I'm carrying now maybe resembles more of like the classics from the 70s and 80s.
Sure.
You know, the guys who were on stage that weren't like extremely conditioned.
Hmm.
Um, that's where I'm at right now. I think, just to be honest with myself.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then, like, objectively looking at your physique, where do you need more, do you think? We all want more everywhere, but where do you find any weaknesses?
Sure. Dude, definitely, yo. I've always like neglected calf training. When I was powerlifting, I'd be like, squat, bench, deadlift, chest pump, arm pump,
Yep.
shoulders, and then call it, like rows. So like there was a phase for like maybe 3 or 4 years in college where I was like not even paying attention to the details.
Yep.
Like, bodybuilding's like a tree. You got the foundation laid out, all of that's there, and then it's like you got the ornaments on there. Details.
Sure.
Details come into play, and it like completes the picture.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's like being an artist, because you got your paintbrushes, you got all your tools and stuff, and it's like, all right, now we're looking here, we're here, and you gotta like wrap it all together. But we are our own harshest critiques and stuff.
For sure.
But, given the amount of time we have now and the unexpectedness, there's room for growth. So we just start chipping away at all these staircase calf raises.
Yeah, I've been doing like a ridiculous amount of calves just because I have time now. I have no excuses.
Yeah, that's good for sure.
Awesome, dude.
Donkey calf raises and other things.
Oh yeah, for sure. You can do everything. What are you looking forward to post show? Like, what's the meal that you're just itching at?
Well, I'm already thinking about this post photo shoot meal. Like shit, dude. Feeling Italian food, guys. I grew up. My stepdad, he's Italian, and I grew up eating Italian food.
Mm-hmm.
One of my friends brought over some pasta, dude, with some homemade meat sauce and like brought some cheese with it. So I'm thinking I'll do like some Italian food Sunday night, if that's like within the allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get the thumbs up from the coach.
Yeah, been waiting for that. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what he says.
What's your photo shoot? Is it like outdoors, or do you have a little gym studio you're going to?
Yeah, a little bit of both. Probably indoors, probably outdoors.
Nice.
My buddy has access to like one of these gyms out here, so we'll have to like talk and see if we can do something and go from there. Yeah.
Awesome, dude. Well, I wish you the best of luck. I hope you get some decent shots.
Yo, thank you, Leroy.
Appreciate you coming on the podcast, man. I'm glad we can finally get this in.
Yeah, definitely. It's been fun, dude.
Yeah, man. You have a good rest of your day, and I'll be watching. I hope you get to hit that stage, man.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds good.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
All right, take care.